They get the seat but lose their soul. Some women do rise in male dominated spaces. But at what cost? To be honest, this video is not pretty. It's not polished. It's the truth that we are not allowed to say out loud. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Miss Wangui Muithathi, your personal finance and investment coach. And today we are talking about women who sell out for inclusion in spaces that were meant to exclude them. Let's be honest. Some women gain power by betraying the sisterhood, silencing their values, and validating systems that were never made for us. But the real cost here, it's higher than most will ever admit. Let's get into it. Let's talk about tokenism and legitimacy sacrifice, quarter over quality. She's not there because she's respected. She's there because HR needed a woman in the photo. That kind of tokenism doesn't empower, it humiliates, unless you're just too blind to see or you just choose not to see. And this forces women to constantly try and prove themselves or prove to the world that they belong, while being treated as decoration. The exceptional woman lie. To survive, some women will go to the extent of pretending like they're different from the rest of us. I made it. Why can't you? That's not empowerment. That's erasure. It denies the weight of systemic barriers that most women still carry. But the betrayal runs deeper. Next, let's talk about what women are forced to become to keep that seat. Behavioral assimilation and identity erasure. Masculine masking. To be taken seriously, she becomes hard, cold, and ruthless. Over time, she kills softness and erases the warmth in her. All this because femininity is not welcome at that table. Don't you think that's quite a high price to pay? Patriarchal rituals. These are things like late night drinks, locker room talks, or golf trips. To stay in the circle, she lowers herself to play the game, even if the game degrades her. And when she laughs off the sexist jokes just to fit in, she reinforces the very systems we are fighting to dismantle. But what happens when the price is not just identity, but silence in the face of abuse? Talk of economic coercion and silenced dissent. There's a financial leash. When you're underpaid, you're undervalued, and still silent, that, my dear, is not loyalty. That's survival. In commercial real estate, women earn 55.9% less in bonuses. So they bite their tongues, accepting the crumbs, avoiding rocking the boat. But at what expense? Let's talk about negotiation self-sabotage. This is where you'll find women, or you'll find her, not asking for more because she's afraid of being labeled difficult. But that silence there, it feeds a system built in her exploitation. And the worst betrayal of all, not to herself, but to all of us as women, the betrayal of collective advocacy. There's no sisterhood here. And this is because some women will pull up the ladder behind them so that another woman doesn't get to climb up. You'll find them blocking mentorship and competing with you instead of collaborating with other women. Why? Because being the only woman in the room makes them feel like they have power. It gives them power. As I said, they're just cold. They become cold. But what she doesn't understand is that her feminine voice has been shut down. Worst case scenario, some call feminist initiatives divisive. Okay? So they'll take part in silencing feminist voices. That, I'm sorry to tell you, that's not leadership. That's betrayal in a business suit. You're a betrayer. Okay? And even if you win, or even if this woman wins, what do they really gain? What's the cost for compromising themselves? Of course, mental exhaustion. Because behind all these polished LinkedIn profiles and the TED Talks, there's burnout, anxiety, and also identity crisis. Because you don't know who you are anymore. You don't think you're a woman like other women. So you have a problem identifying yourself. Because contouring yourself every day just to be accepted, that's not empowerment. That's psychological erosion. You allow it. Reinforcing the enemy. Every ignored microaggression, every complicit silence, it helps make patriarchy stronger and all of us weaker. So I'm not wrong to call you the enemy. As Lily said, a seat at the table means nothing if the table is rotten. Eventually it will break down. So what's the alternative here? Of course, there's a way forward. Because every problem has to have a solution. But it's not easy. There's always an alternative to everything. Start building authentic power. Create your own table. Some people don't want that kind of work. They don't want to do the work. But that's why I said it won't be easy. Building your own table or creating your own table, it means you have to start from scratch. Some people are too lazy for that. You really have to know who you are. You have to know what you want. Only 2% of VC funding goes to women-led startups. But you see, that 2%, you might think it's small, but that 2%, that's rebellion right there. When women start businesses, they don't ask for power. They build it. They design cultures that don't require us to shrink. So, alliance over appeasement. True power isn't about pleasing the gatekeepers. It's about alliance, okay? Like the exec who stepped back so that her black colleague could rise. This is not about being liked, okay? It's about being liberated as a woman. So let's be very clear. A seat at a broken table is a cage. So I don't see why you would sit in a cage and feel sweet or feel good about it. You need to be figuring out how to get out of that cage. That's what anyone in their right mind would be doing. Okay? Don't be walking around with compromised priorities and you're thinking you're cool and all that. No. Real liberation, it's not granted. It's built. Brick by brick, woman by woman. And if you have to betray your sisters to sit there, that seat was never meant for you. And when the time is right, they'll get rid of you as the woman that you are. I am Miss Wangui Muithathi, your personal finance and investment coach, and I'll see you in my next video.